Hello guys, welcome back onto the Dutch couch. Got to say, I'm absolutely buzzing for Leeds United. Just won the Championship and returned to the Premier League, right? The Premier League for me is a much better place when Leeds United are in it. Massive club, immense fan base, immense stadium. The noise created in there, the roar of Ellen Road is incredible, and I'm so glad it's back. It's been sorely missed. I'm looking at realistically, though, I'm going to go back to this. Realistically, I'm looking at the task ahead, right, for Leeds. It is huge. The Championship, the level between the top end of the Championship and the bottom end of the Premier League is massive, and it's getting bigger. And I think it's going to get even harder for these teams to survive and compete even when they come up, right? You've got to look at the three teams who came up. They've bombed big time. But I'm looking at Leeds in particular, right? I'm comparing them to the teams who are just above relegation in the Premier League at the moment. The West Hams, obviously Uniteds, the Tottenhams, the Wolves, the Evertons. I'm looking at their current squad leads that they've got together now, and I'm thinking, I can't see any players there that get anywhere near the first 11s of any of those teams. So then I'm thinking, how are they going to compete? That's the question I'm going to ask. And I'd love Leeds fans to get involved in the comments. I've got a right soft spot for Leeds. I love these big sleeping giant clubs where the fans are so passionate. That is what makes football, and I think this fan base is one of 4 or 5 in the country. I think are absolutely amazing. That crowd's going to be massive for them next season, but that atmosphere alone is not enough. There's got to be. I mean, I'm looking at recruitment right in the summer. Leeds could spend, I don't know, realistically, I don't know, but you can spend 200 million, right? You probably ain't got that sort of dosh to spend. You can spend 200 million and still not compete. It's more than just spending 60, 70 million on players. And I don't think it's going to work to buy good Championship players now. Clubs have tried that. It's bombed. It's not worked for them. I think you need Premier League experience. Leeds, I think, 'cause they've got quite a few young players there. I think they need to buy Premier League experience, definitely, in my opinion. Leeds fans, let me know what you think. You know more about your squad than I do. I don't know the ins and outs of every player. I don't know their inside leg measurements or nothing like that. I'm not into it as much as that, right? But what I do know is that spending massive money doesn't guarantee anything. So the recruitment, I look at someone like Brighton before. The recruitment, the scouting network. If Leeds can sort of pull off something like that, buying players for next to nothing, developing them into fantastic players quickly, that is a model that a lot of teams surely do follow. Just look at and think that's the way to go. You look at Burnley, right, as an example. You're looking at Burnley like this season. They've made so many clean sheets. It's unbelievable. Broke records and what have you. The difference in the Premier League next season, I'm thinking, are they going to struggle to keep 3 or 4 clean sheets? That is what you're dealing with here, right? That is the difference between that and this level. You get punished for every mistake. And I'm looking at this Leeds squad and I'm thinking, how many players can step up? I looked at your top performers, Leeds fans, right? This is based on ratings during the season, right? You look at your top performers. You're looking at Solomon, Firpo, Ampadu, Bogle, Dan James, Joe Rodon. I'm looking at them names and thinking, how many of them are actually Premier League players at a Premier League quality to step up to that level and compete there and excel there? First and foremost, if you finish 17th next season, that'd be a massive achievement. I think literally Leeds need to go in there, survive and build. Literally like the Brentfords have done. Build gradually and sustain, become a mainstay in the Premier League first before you can even think of challenging for European places and stuff like that. Realism is massive here, right? But I'm looking at your forwards, and I know Patrick Bamford, obviously, he's played in the Premier League before. I looked at his stats. He's played 17 games this season and not scored a single goal, I believe. I'm guessing he must have had a few injuries and what have you. But you're looking at Joel Perreault. 46 games, 19 goals. You're going to struggle probably to score. I'd guess he probably won't even score half of that in the Premier League. It's so much tougher up there. This is an absolute step. This is levels above. This is not just a one division. This is levels above now. The difference in quality up there is unreal. You're used to being a possession-based team. Whoever takes control there, or if Farke's in his position still, you need to get used to being out of possession a lot. So the coaching's going to be a little bit different now. So much is going to change, it's unreal. But I look at the manager, I was talking about Daniel Farke, right? I look at the manager and I think, is this his level? It's a tough one because I think he's done a good job. He's done a great job at Norwich twice, got them promoted, but he went down both times. Is it a mix of you get to a level, and I think as a manager, I think you do find your level. As much as it's financial and you can only work with what squad you got, I think then your coaching has to come into play. You probably have to be him in particular. I think if he's there on the first game of the season, I think he has to be very adaptable in his tactics, in his philosophy, in the way he carries out orders for the team, in the way he plays and approaches games against different, in this division, I think you can get away with it, playing your game. In the Premier League, you are competing with such a different ability level. You have got to be very adaptable and adjustable in the way you're thinking. I'm not sure he's got it. I'm not sure he has it in him. Really not sure. At best, if he does, I mean, there's talk of them replacing him, right, Leeds fans? I know, I've seen online, I think, I looked online on social media, Leeds fans sort of a little bit split on it. I think a lot of them want to be loyal to him, which I think is great. I think he's done a great job. Give him a chance to bring him into the Premier League. I would personally go that way. Give him a chance at least. But on the other hand, he's so unforgiving up there, and the pressure, the financial pressure there, that the owners will put on him to stay there, that's only going to add to the stress that he's facing and the amount of the job, the size of the job that's in his way. I can't see it. I can only see, at best, I see Daniel Farke at Leeds latest Christmas. I think that's the latest he lasts. And I think it's going to be the same at Burnley, as well as Scott Parker's done. I think they go up. It's happened before with so many teams. They go up by Christmas. You're getting spanked. A different level. You're not going to win. You're not going to go through next season losing 4 matches. It's impossible. It's impossible. You're having teams in the Premier League now going up and not even winning 4 matches. It's madness. That is the gulf that you're dealing with. And I think some of these owners need a bit of realism sometimes. They need to be realistic in their expectations of the manager who's taking the team up. You can't just compete with these teams who have got multi-billion-pound squads. You can't do it. Blood, sweat and tears is not enough. In the end, talent and technical ability comes to the forefront. Quality wins it, cream rises to the top, and that's what happens. But I'm not sure he can compete at that level, Daniel Farke. I'm not sure. I really have my reservations. Farke's team are possession-based, like I said, right? So the adaptability of the coach has to be questioned. He really has to go in there with a different outlook. Expectations going to be different. It's not in the Championship. You're expected to win that league, really, in my opinion. Leeds should win the Championship. The size of the club, I think they should be the favourites to win the Championship, and they've done it. In the Premier League, if you finish 17th, he gets Manager of the Year for me, if he's there, which I don't think he will be. I'd love to hear from Leeds fans on this, because I've been talking to someone the last couple of days about this, and I'm as much as I really like Leeds and I love them to do well, I'm set in my opinion that at the moment the gap is so big that the top 3 go up and the top 3 go down again, based on the squads that I've mentioned at the start of the video there. The teams in relegation, just above relegation, in the Premier League, they are streets above this squad. I'm looking at this squad now and I'm thinking, how many of them can play Premier League? I like Nonto. I like him, but can he be consistent enough to play in the Premier League? How many players, realistically, do you think Leeds need to buy to compete there, just to stay there, 17th? I think they need to buy a massive amount of players. I know they've got some good youngsters there, but it's going to be very tough. Very tough, in my opinion. Done a great job this season. I mean, they're looking at expanding Ellen Road to 53,000, I think it is. And for me, they'd fill it easily. They'd fill it easily. They could go, I reckon they could go 70,000 and fill it. They've got that much of a great core fan base there. It's a shame. It's a shame that they've been struggling the last few years, because I think fan base, they deserve all the success in the world. But that place, and most importantly, the supporters get the chance to go to the top tier again. Both deserve it. Both in their rightful place again. And I would love to see next season it all go to plan. I would love to see Leeds stay up. Because I think if they stay up for a year, then I think they kick on. Who knows? Europe again one day. But yeah, baby steps, I think. But yeah, love to hear from Leeds fans in the comments. Let me know what you think of next season. Let me know what you think of Daniel Farke. Will he stay? Do you want him to stay? Do you think he's the man? Do you think you need someone else to come in? I don't know. A younger manager, maybe. One of these Pep clones that everyone seems to be grabbing hold of. But yeah, let's have a look. Let's see what happens next season. Take care. On to the next one.